Hello everyone, welcome back to Breaking News Nigeria. So Sowore has been released after he was recently arrested. So Sowore's arrest and quick release is not just a random event, it reflects the ongoing struggle between activism and political power in Nigeria. Sowore has always been a loud voice for accountability, and every time he's detained, it sends a message that speaking truth to power still comes with a price. And however, the fact that he was released so quickly, this shows you that a lot of people, we are protesting for his release. A lot of people are protesting for Showore's release. You can see even the time that they went to many protesters were in front of Kuji prison. They were demanding for the release of Martin Nnamdi Kanu. And even according to sources, they said that some of these police also tear gas them while they were, protesting for the release of Showore. Like, guys, you can imagine what is going on. Can imagine what is going on. Anyway, guys, I love you guys to listen to what Sowore said as he was released today. Guys,
that's why they lose their mind. So I have been through about 7 presidents in my lifetime since probably more now, since 1992. Several police
called Egbetokun a useless IGP, and
no,
he had.
Is it not useless?
Not allowed.
Okay, so what's your word to in terms of the justice system, seeing what played out when you were beaten and manhandled in the court?
It's not the first time they will do that. You must have seen a plethora of police attacks on me since 1992. Some of the police who attacked me had to fight for their retirement benefits a few weeks ago. So it's to us who I know doesn't know his left from his right. I can't be banding words with the IGP, who I know is no longer in the police force. And you cannot be IGP if you are not in the police force. And they understand it. That's why they lose their mind. So I have been through about 7 presidents in my lifetime since probably more now, since 1992. Several police IGPs, and some of them have had to help in the course of some of them I had to assist where they were even still serving.
Yes.
So these are not issues that bothers me a lot. Anybody who is doing what we do knows that your second vacation home is prison.
Okay, the service chiefs.
That's why they lose their mind. So I have been through about 7 presidents in my lifetime since probably more now, since 1992. Several police
called Egbetokun a useless IGP, and he had.
Is it not useless?
Not allowed.
Okay, so what's your word to in terms of the justice system, seeing what played out when you were beaten and manhandled in the court?
It's not the first time they will do that. You must have seen a plethora of police attacks on me since 1992. Some of the police who attacked me had to fight for their retirement benefits a few weeks ago. So it's to us who I know doesn't know his left from his right. I can't be banding words with the IGP, who I know is no longer in the police force. And you cannot be IGP if you are not in the police force. And they understand it. That's why they lose their mind. So I have been through about 7 presidents in my lifetime since probably more now, since 1992. Several police IGPs, and some of them have had to help in the course of some of them I had to assist where they were even still serving.
Yes.
So these are not issues that bothers me a lot. Anybody who is doing what we do knows that your second vacation home is prison.
Okay, the service chiefs.
So, guys, many Nigerians believe that Sowore is being targeted because he speaks too much truth. He always calls out those in power and says what others are afraid to say. Some people think these arrests are just to, scare him or shut him up. But in my own opinion, I think this looks like what intimidation. They know Showore's voice is strong and they want to make him afraid. But each time they arrest him, he comes out stronger. So every little thing they arrest Sowore, they're only trying to scare him. But anytime they even arrest this man comes out stronger. And they even when you tell him, okay, don't protest again, he will still go and protest. Like, a lot of human rights lawyers are angry. They say this kind of arrest is not right in a democratic country. Everybody has the right to speak, right to protest, and also right to criticize the government if they are doing something that is not good, if they are doing something that is bad. Everybody has right to criticize. I saw in a recent video where Wike said that that this kind of in Nigeria, that everybody has right to call their president's name, everybody has right to, and the president is not doing anything about it. But in United States of America and other countries, you don't dare talk to the people in power anyhow. But he has forgotten that the people that in outside country are doing well for their citizens. You can't compare it to what is going on in Nigeria. Even if in America the president is not doing well for the citizens, the citizens will also come out to protest and also call the president out. So that is just it. The one thing with Nigeria is that they don't want us to, protest when they're doing things that are not right. They only want to suppress us. They want to violate our rights, suppress so that we will not be able to do anything. Now, even many people are still seeing Sowore as a fearless man. He talks about the problems young people are facing: no job, bad leadership, insecurity, and poor governance. So each time they arrest him, it makes the youth even more angry and more aware. Just like what happened in Kuji prison, where many protesters were there telling them that they should release Sowore. In fact, the police started tear gassing at them. In some sources, they said that the police were tear gassing at them that as they came out, to demand for the release of Sowore. Like, guys, this is honestly, bad. I don't know what the Nigerian government, wants to turn the citizens into. I don't know if they want to bend us down to the extent that we will not be able to breathe again. That is what they really want. Every time Sowore is arrested, it makes Nigeria even look bad internationally, but they don't just know. Anytime you arrest someone who is trying to speak the truth, and Nigeria don't know that, it makes them look bad internationally. So people abroad begin to say, oh, so Nigeria still arrest people for speaking out. These things affect our image as a country. Instead of arresting critics, the government should fix the problem people are talking about. The government should look into what those people are talking about. Even people who did not like him before, and now even people who did not like Sowore before, are now beginning to respect him, because the kind of power he showed us during the protest of Martin Nnamdi Kanu is enough to like Sowore. Anyway, that I would love you guys to also listen to what happened in court today. And you guys know that Martin Nnamdi Kanu came to court, and in fact Martin Nnamdi Kanu said there's nothing to defend. There's nothing to defend at all again. I'm not defending. What's there to defend? Because you guys already know the truth, but you guys are still keeping him in detention. They know the truth, and they're still keeping him in detention. So guys, to watch this video, and I'm going to be right back on what happened
Where's the lying news agency of Nigeria? Are they here? Those liars and deceivers, are they here? That distort the news. You don't know what law is. You don't know what justice is. Where's the news agency of Nigeria? What are they? You don't know that God is a God of justice. You don't know that? That God in heaven is a God of justice. You don't know that? Never be tried in any court of law in Nigeria. Say it again. That's what the law says. Say it again. Anybody standing in trial or coming to try me is a terrorist. That's what their law says. As simple as that. Not me. As simple as that. Section 2, subsection 3F of Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act. That's what it says. Any court considered to try me is committing an act of terrorism. Yes. Very clear. You cannot violate a treaty that Nigeria entered into and then come to try that very person is not done anywhere in the world. So you must be aware of that. So that is why there is all these ridiculous delays. That is what Supreme Court said. I did not jump bail. My home was invaded. They came to kill me and I survived. They came to Kenya to kidnap me, brought me back to this country and seeking to try me, which the law says cannot happen. You cannot violate a treaty that Nigeria entered into and then hope to stand on that illegality to conduct a trial. Is not done anywhere in the world. I will have it in my case.
It was an appeal to the president to release Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, and I still stand on it. Whether you like it or not, as a nation, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is my brother. I'll be stupid at my age to be afraid of anybody. I'm not afraid of anybody. Worst case scenario now is that you go to school, you make a first class, you go and work for somebody who failed. In other climes, my brother, those
Saturday, 25th day of October 2025. I just came out from DSSS now with some of my colleagues. Here we went to see Mazin and the camp. So, and as you can see, we are no longer representing him in this ongoing trial. But some other matters that for him, and which we handle both in Court of Appeal, the Federal High Court, and in some other courts. So those ones we are handling for him. So he told us this afternoon that when after the sitting on Friday, he was brought back to DSSS. So reaching there, one DSSS officer attacked him. One DSSS officer attacked him. That's what he told us. So, and we said, okay, since it's like this, there's every need for him to draw attention to that incident to the court on Monday, when the matter will come up for a hearing. So you should let the court know, because we have consistently applied that he should be remanded at a correctional center where he will have adequate time and conducive environment to prepare his defense. Now that the court went to the DSSS and attacked him, and he has been mentally tortured, he was sad, and this is somebody who wants to go and enter trial, enter defense on Monday. So just to update you people, and we have also told him what to inform the court about it. So that is the update. Thank you and God bless you.
Bryce Awabuko, what's your reaction to kind of sacking his legal team led by Kanu Agabi and saying he's going to defend himself? How did you feel seeing him stand there in the dock and speak? How did you feel? Did you feel it was a passionate moment? Did you feel sorry for him? Did you feel that this man is like no other? How did you feel?
Well, I don't feel sorry for him. Nnamdi Kanu has always been bold. He's a man that cannot be intimidated. That's the fact. He's a man that has been offered presumably all kinds of gratifications to drop the bid, and he has refused to do that. So I don't think he's somebody to be pitied. I think he knows what he's doing, though I didn't actually expect him to sack his legal counsel at this point of the trial. I expected him to have, in fact, for me, I think he needs more counsel now than what he did. I'm not shocked. I know that he has the capability of defending himself, and he has the constitutional right of defending himself.
We have been asking why. Why? The previous analyst said that maybe he did that because of financial reasons. Maybe there's a financial undertone that some of these SANs charge a lot. But I don't think I agree. I think he's been engaging them for a long time. I mean, it's just like finally the tortoise is about to come out of the well and is suddenly crying. I'm just saying, it just seems like ill-timed if it's about financial decisions. I don't know. Why do you think he made that decision?
Well, nobody knows. But what I am aware, and I'm sure, is that his legal team is aware. I think he must have discussed with them and proffered his reasons to them. That's what I think. I don't think finance is a factor here. I don't think that the lawyers were overcharging him and then he had to lay them off. No, I am very sure that some of them are even doing it pro bono. I can vouch that some of the lawyers are doing it pro bono. A lot of people believe in his cause. A lot of people believe that he has a right to his freedom and liberty. So I don't think it's about money. I think he has his personal reasons, which he has not told anybody besides his legal team. I think they discussed and agreed. Whatever he will do today or subsequent days, I think he's in concert with his legal team. I think that they are still working from the background. You may not see them in Kobe then. I think they're still working with him.
Nnamdi Kanu would justifiably feel that he has been oppressed by the system. He has been held in custody, going through so much. You know what it means to be in a room and someone says you can't get out? All you can do is discuss with the wall. You are there losing your mind, and then you say you want to stand there in the dock and defend yourself. You are calling on Wike, calling on Malami and other high-profile individuals. You want to question them. You want them to serve as witnesses, and you are doing it in such an emotional, passionate moment. How do you feel Kanu would handle this case since he's opted to defend himself?
Well, we're not going to see anything different for what he has done before. He's going to come out there, roar like a lion, and then ventilate his views about the charges against him. I believe that one of the reasons why he dropped his legal team was that for him, he may not actually have ample time with his team. You know, I don't think they gave the lawyers enough access to him, so he will be
he complained about that.
Yeah, so if you are not giving him access to his lawyers, then more or less like the lawyers may not actually do much for him if he doesn't have unfettered access to legal representation, because some of them will go and DSS will not allow them to access him. Sometimes if he wants to be interviewed by his lawyers, there will be cameras everywhere. So how would they prepare him for the case? So I think he believes that if you can't allow me to access my lawyers, then I wouldn't need them. So let the bullets come, I will take them myself. I think that might be the reason why he's doing what he's doing.
How strategic is this new norm, you know, for him? By the way, how strategic is it? And the merits of self-representation in a high-profile criminal case such as his.
Like I said earlier on, if he's not allowed unfettered access to his lawyers, it's as good as the lawyers who doesn't need to be in court. So it will still be people who are representing him. They are not allowed to, you know, prep him for the case. So it's as good as they are not needed in the court. So strategically, well, I think he will do his best. I think he's well knowledgeable. I think he has a lot of facts and knowledge.
He knows the law.
See, this time around, it's not about the law, it's about the facts of the case. Because the charge against him, there's a legal aspect to it, and there's also a factual aspect to it.
That's right.
The fact is that he did commit acts of terror. That's the fact. Now, if you establish that he committed acts of terror, then the law will now be applied to him. So from that doc, he's not going to give you legal postulations or legal views. He will give you evidence about the facts. So where lawyers are needed is to guide him so that he doesn't, you know, skid off. But what it has to do with the facts. What is there to do during this examination in chief is to reel out what actually happened. There is a charge against him that he committed acts of terror. So what he will do is that he will tell his own story about what he did and what he did not do. So for him, he feels that he doesn't actually need a legal counsel this time around.
For him to dock these weaknesses like high-profile individuals in Nigeria, by the way, how do you think this is going to pan out? And as I stated, we've been asking that question: are they going to respond and come and, you know, defend themselves? But definitely, it was stated that yes, once you're being called upon, you have to come to the law court and defend yourself. So how do you see this panning out? You know, him naming these high-profile individuals as witnesses.
First, I think he named them to establish that he is not a terrorist, right? So these are people who are somewhat connected to his maybe rendition, illegal rendition, who are connected to several acts. People like Governor of Imo State that was reported to say that the acts of terror in the state were not perpetrated by IPOB. So I think he picked some people who he feels that they will actually make his case better. Now, as regards to whether they will come, there are witnesses that are competent and compellable. When you have to do witnesses, you look about competence and compellability. So issue of subpoena is an order of court to produce them. Now, whoever is subpoenaed to come and give evidence also has a right to file an application in court, telling the court that I don't have any connection to this case.
These people,
so
that he's called, they are not there to basically pour sand in his case. They are there to probably say some things that could make a better case for him. Do you see that happening? You talked about Hope Uzodinma now that has once dissociated the issues in the state from IPOB, right? Yes. So that's on one side. What about the FCT minister? Would he make Nnamdi Kanu's case better for him?
Actually, I don't think any of them will make his case better. But then in law, there's what we call a hostile witness. A hostile witness is when your witness turns against you. So if they come to court, they are now Nnamdi Kanu's witnesses. Now, if they give evidence contrary to evidence that will support Nnamdi Kanu's bid, what Nnamdi Kanu will do is to declare them hostile witnesses and put questions to them. He will not have a right of cross-examining his own witnesses. So what he's trying to do, he's trying to play a strategic, a master stroke by getting them to come to court. Definitely they will not give evidence in his favor. He will not declare them as hostile witnesses to be able to ask them some questions, which will make them to give some things that will extricate him.
Barrister Wabuko, I have to say this on live TV. You are too wise. You are just too wise. The way you unravel this case, the way you just What did it mean for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, after so many years in custody, for Mazi Kanu to stand there in the dock on his own? If he wins or loses this case, what would it go down in history as? What would be the story of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in that moment, standing there, the Constitution in one hand, his case in the other, and all the other documents that he had, he recited, he challenged the court? What would that go down in history as?
Well, actually, I think that has shown somebody who is bold enough to stand for what he believes in, bold enough to stand against all odds. What it means that you are facing a terror charge and then you are not cowering in fear. Because actually what people expected him to do is to go for settlement. And he's saying, I'm not settling. He's simply saying, I didn't do this. I know a lot of people have approached him to try to settle out of court, to try to look at the option of settlement out of court, to try a sort of ADR. But he shows someone who is very resolute in what he wants. He's already making headlines. All of us are talking about him today because he's resolute in what he wants to achieve.
So what's the case? What are the key issues in Mazi Kanu's case? We're seeing him in court. We're talking about what the court is doing, what police is doing. Could you strategically tell us what the exact cases are before Mazi Kanu at this point? Since he's defending himself, we will say before Mazi Kanu. What are these terrorism charges in the first place?
Well, the charges are very clear. The Terrorism Act is very clear. Terrorism Prevention Act,
yes,
and Prohibition Act is there. So what he's trying to do is to establish two things. One, that he didn't commit any act of terror, that he didn't incite people to violence, that he didn't encourage people to commit, that he himself didn't kill anybody or commit acts. Then, secondly, he will also try to establish that the court has no jurisdiction. That's why he's bringing some of those people in to talk about his illegal rendition, because he's bringing some of these people like Buratai to court to actually ask them questions as to how they brought him all the way from Kenya to Nigeria. So he's trying to establish two things. One, that he didn't commit acts of terror. Secondly, that the court has no jurisdiction to try him, since he's made applications which the court refused, up to the Supreme Court that remitted the matter for a trial. He's not trying to get to be on record by the evidence of the state itself. That's what he's trying to do. Get people who were once governors, who were in the military, who were former governors, to come and give evidence for him as hostile witnesses as to how he was illegally renditioned to Nigeria. And if he achieves that, then there will be no basis for the trial in the first instance.
As you call out, some of the high-profile individuals are governors. There are 7 governors. Sowore is there, and Hope Uzodinma. Now, some of these individuals who have immunity, are they going to respond and make themselves applicable in the law court to come and defend and be a witness, as Nnamdi Kanu has named them as part of his witnesses? Are they going to, by the way, with them having that immunity backing them as governors?
Well, they have a duty to do if they don't want to come to court. If the court issues a subpoena for a witness to come, the witness has a right to file an application stating explicitly while he or she will not be in court to give evidence. So people who have the legal protection of immunity can bring an application to state that, hey, under the law, we are shielded. However, you know what the Constitution does by that provision is not to shield them from giving evidence, but to shield them from being prosecuted.
Oh, yeah.
So the Constitution does not shield them from giving evidence in any matter. What the Constitution shields them is from being sued to court. So if you are bringing them as a witness, there's no immunity from giving evidence, but there's an immunity from or against prosecution. So that they can still bring an application to court to stop them from coming to court on the basis of their position in government. They can do that. It's not left for the court to rule whether they can be compelled to give evidence or whether they should be let off the hook.
We saw him in the dock right there, bringing out certain things, and let's track back to when he invaded his house in Abia State, by the way, and that's when this whole thing started. Self-preservation is the number one rule to life, right? And he needed to self-preserve himself. So a jumping bail and whatnot is part of the reasons given, So now, stating these things, these facts, tying these things, and him, being arrested or kidnapped in Kenya, what are we actually reeling out and judging, since the place the law is meant to start is not futile?
So you see, That's what we have been saying. We know that whatever happened in our father, Umar at that time, understand? For me, I will keep on saying Nnamdi did not jump bail. He did not. They were about killing him. It's very clear. The military wanted to do what they call show of force, and they carried the show of force from Umuahia Township to his village, to his father's house. They were proof. They were shot into his house. So it was not a show of force. So for me, I think there was an attempt to, let me use their phrase, neutralize him. So it was an act of self-preservation. We keep on saying that he did not jump bail. They tried to neutralize him. That's what happened. And then he escaped for his life before he was illegally renditioned to Nigeria. It was not even an arrangement between Nigerian government and Kenyan government. It was a stealth action.
And they ruled against it, though, the Kenyan courts. Yeah.
Yes.
So now you move into this issue. It's high profile. And some people may be justifiably concerned that at this time, this is when he needs his counsel. You said something earlier that he may not have had unfettered access to his legal team, and he complained about that as well, meaning that they might not be able to have the amount of grip on the story or his story as he would like. So he's like, let me just do it myself. That's what we're speculating on right now.
Yes, just speculation.
Yeah, just what we're speculating on right now. So does that translate to him possibly not trusting his legal team to handle this case, judging by the lack of communication that they've had due to the officials around them?
No, it's not a matter of trust deficit. It's a matter of breach of the constitution, because section 36 is very clear that whoever is sued in an action as an accused person should be given ample time, opportunity, and legal representation.
So what does he think?
What does
he think the council lacks?
The council does not lack anything. The only thing that is the problem is that they were not allowing his lawyers to prepare him adequately for his case.
Then does that show a depth of information?
Yes. So I think it's a matter of breach of the constitution, because how can they prepare him when they are preparing him under cameras? How can you prepare your clients?
So so based on the story,
you're not allowed access to your counsel.
We were trying to draw a timeline, because what journalists have not been able to unravel is why. So if we're to make a story out of this, Mazi Kano has not had as much access to his legal counsel as he would like.
Yes.
Essentially, that means he's not been able to converse with them. And what are you conversing about? Information.
Yes.
So if he feels his legal counsel has enough information, then they can go ahead. You already ruled out financials. You ruled it out.
The lawyers will not have adequate information.
Exactly. So
one of the reasons why bail is granted is to allow an accused person to prepare his case. How can he prepare his case under CCTV cameras? What will his lawyer say?
So this is not
whatever his lawyer will say will be used against the lawyers.
So we're using the elimination method. We've eliminated financials,
It cannot be financials.
Eliminated trust. It's not a trust deficit.
Yes.
But it's possible that it's an information deficit.
Definitely.
So he feels he has the most information about his case,
Definitely.
and as such can present and defend his case.
You see, there are things as a client you can only tell your lawyer, and no other ears will hear it. Because when you tell your lawyers things, you divulge some information that is not meant for the other ear. Your lawyer will now help you to prepare your case better. Imagine where the prosecution is also listening to your conversation. How will that case be conducted? The state is prosecuting. The state is monitoring the preparation of an accused person. So he doesn't have unfettered access to his lawyer. That's why one of the reasons for bail application is allowing the accused person to go home, sit down with his lawyers under confidentiality to prepare his case, so that he comes to court, the state does their case, the defense does the defense. But this time around, the state who is prosecuting is also part of the legal team, because they are listening to every conversation.
So let me jump in now.
Every question whatever Nnamdi Kanu will tell them, the state will already know. So what will he say again?
Let me throw in a spanner. You've established that, okay? Based on what happened with the NMA coming in and debunking the initial report that his own medical team gave, do you think that somewhere in Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's mind, he is feeling like he doesn't know who could be complicit? Do you think he's envisioning a case where it's impossible to trust anybody? Like any politician, politicians can hardly trust anybody, right? You don't know who wants what. Do you think that he's wondering if every other person has been influenced? Now we've already heard, Kanu Agabi is a strong lawyer, powerful and the rest. But from what he experienced at NMA, saying that his condition is not life-threatening. And we saw his team earlier appeal to the enemy not to be compromised. They said it because they envisioned the possibility. Now, this is not to say they were, but his team initially envisioned the possibility and appealed to them not to be used as weapons or tools. Do you think that beyond the issue of information, death of information possibly, that he could also have been thinking of the issue of if anybody could be complicit, if anybody could be acting against him? Because sometimes the enemy lies within.
Well, question you have to ask is that when the enemy said that he was fit, did they produce any result? They ran a check on him, right? Did they produce any medical result that his liver is functioning, his kidney is functioning? Did you see that? They simply said, we think he's fit to stand trial, right? Now they can say, no problem, let me stand trial. Let's go ahead with trial. So I think it's a matter of a lot of people will believe, general view will believe that NMA did it. You know, you are conducting a medical examination under the watchful
NMA's position is justified. My question to you, Barrister Wabuko, is could that anti-incident have affected Mazi Kanu in a certain way that he's wondering if everybody else is compromised?
Definitely, he's seen himself as being alone. There's nobody on his side again. So he has ready to go all out to defend himself without anybody assisting him this time around. So I think that he doesn't actually believe that any other person can assist him now. If every other thing is working against him, the medical team, in fact, he was not even allowed. Imagine where he was not, his medical, his lawyers were not even allowed, sorry, his doctors were not even allowed to examine him. And the court had to order NMA. Why should the court order NMA? Doesn't he have his own medical practitioner? Must he be the enemy?
So what are we saying?
So if you are sick, the court will order an association to come and examine. What do you want the association to do when the government is involved?
What are we saying? What are we saying? We've talked about information.
Yes.
Now we're bringing in the issue of suspected anxiety over who can trust, who can I trust?
Yes.
Is that a valid point?
Very, very valid. Did you expect the enemy to do the opposite of what they did? Would you expect the enemy to say that he's not fit to stand trial?
We're talking about his counsel now. We're talking about his counsel.
I said earlier on that his lawyer cannot prepare him when the prosecution will also be part of his preparation, because whatever they are doing, they will do it in custody, in DSS custody, with CCTV cameras. What will he tell his lawyer? So, see, there are information that you will not divulge until you go to court.
So this is
now, this information will not be in the open even before the matter goes to court.
So this is not a case of him not probably trusting those around him. This is a case of him saying, it's better I keep what I know in my head.
Inside, and then say it open.
The table. Okay.
Yes, and say it open, so that every year we hear it. Because if he does that, the oath of confidentiality will be broken, because whatever he's telling his lawyers, DSS is aware of it, federal government is aware of it, Justice Omotoso is aware of it, even before the matter is given as an evidence. So and they wait for him. So he will be ambushed in court.
This time around, he has decided that since he can't discuss privately with his lawyers,
keep it inside.
He wants to internalize and break the table in court.
Exactly, break all the table, all the legs of the table, so that everybody will hear it, including the media, including the press, including every other person in the court. They will hear it for the first time.
So are we eliminating the death of information and possible suspicions around complicity?
As regards to his legal counsel, issue of suspicion is not there, but issue of lack of access, unfettered access to his legal counsel, that is what has really played out.
Okay. Let's talk about Mazi Kanu's personality and the kind of person he is. He can be provocative sometimes and all that, his temperament and all. How can he manage in a law court that they need order in the court? You know, being the kind of person he is it going to be excuse of those attitudes while he stand, as a self-defendant?
I think the court will try to control whatever is happening. The court is the dominus litis of a case, so the court will try to slow him down. So he raises his voice, he starts screaming. The court will try to, and that's why maybe his lawyers, because his lawyers will try to tell him to calm down. This time around, nobody will tell him to calm down aside the court. So I think that the court will actually try to slow him down, try to get him to calm down. Once I believe that Justice Omotoso will show a certain level of understanding, and then I think everything will play out very well.
Okay, looking at this case, right, from a permutation, how would this pan out after the 90 days?
If granted.
If granted, by the way, yeah.
Well, nobody can say. Nobody can know. Nobody can say what is going to happen, because I think that until he gives his evidence in court, there are some evidence he might give. The court might decide some of those information is not right for the public to hear. So, but then when he goes into the dock to give evidence, we're going to see what's going to happen. But for now, nobody is sure what will transpire in court. Nobody is very sure.
Are we about to experience a shockwave in Nigeria that same things that are going to be said in that law court is going to, have a ripple effect?
That's exactly what Mazen Dandekano is trying to do. He's trying to make sure that, because I know that there are certain things he may want to say, and his legal counsel will say, please don't go there. Don't cause chaos or crisis.
From the grapevine, right?
Yeah.
Said that certain reasons, part of the reasons why what is happening now is happening is because these individuals, these legal luminaries, always try to avert certain things to be said and put out there. So continue.
So when you are representing a client, there are certain information your client will give you. You try to rearrange it, or there are things you tell your client, please don't say this in court, okay? Let's rather go through this route. Now the lawyers, they know the decorum of the court, they know the demeanor of the court, they know the mindset of the courtroom and then the setting. So they will try to avoid some certain things. But this time around, I think Nnamdi doesn't want that. He wants to roar. He doesn't want to follow the normal courtroom decorum and etiquette. He just wants to speak his mind. So I think he's telling his lawyer, stay off. Let me see what is on my mind. But then I think that the court will want to try to, slow him down to get him to maintain a certain level of courtroom decorum and etiquette, because if that is not done, I don't think the matter will go on successfully.
Knowing fully what the kind of person Nnamdi Kanu is, right? And right about now is him trying to say the raw truth. Do you think this truth, that the truth is going to come out from this litigation that's going to happen, is going to somehow destabilize the state?
I don't know what he wants to say, but I suspect that whatever he wants to say will be earth-shaking. And then maybe in the course of the trial, the judge might want to make sure that nobody, of course, has access to the courtroom. The court may decide to decongest the courtroom, so it will just between him.
Yeah. We do see clips do leak. Clips do leak from the courtroom.
Okay, so now speaking of clips leaking, right? Now we're seeing a VDM, who of course is a social media personality, also an activist, and he's been very vocal. And lots of Nigerians are happy that he has finally commented on the Mazen Nnamdi case. So he is saying that all of this is just for public sake. Okay, in line with what Oji said, he said Nnamdi Kanu will likely be released at his old age. That's the government's plan. All these court appearances are just for public sake. Many Southeast leaders are behind his arrest. That's what BDM is saying about it. How do you respond? Do you think that Nnamdi Kanu, would they want to keep him maybe for 20 more years, as BDM is saying, till he's old and too weak to agitate for Biafra?
BDM is a content creator. He's free to say anything he wants to say. I understand. Whatever he says is a very big falsehood. See, this Nnamdi Kanu's case is not a common case. Even the federal government is not finding it very, very easy. Understand? Because this is a matter that has gone viral. It's not the everyday criminal matters that comes to court that will just be expeditiously tried, right? So it's a very sensitive issue. It's an issue that has to do with beyond a region, beyond a sub-region. It's a matter that is sensitive to the hearts of Igbo, wherever they are, whether they are in the southeast or outside the southeast. So it's a matter that has to do with self-determination. So whenever you mention Biafra, a certain kind of emotion is evoked in the heart of the Igbo man and the Igbo woman. So the federal government is not actually trying to detain him. For now, if you ask me, my personal view, as at this stage, the federal government is actually in a dilemma.
So away from
do we convict him? Do we free him?
Yes.
The federal government is in a dilemma.
Speaking of this dilemma, Oji.
Yeah. Talking about convicting Nnamdi Kanu, you're a lawyer.
Yes.
How would you convict somebody that the processes of bringing him into the country and the self-preservation when they invaded his family house in Omaya? So where do you start from to put the traces?
That is really what I'm saying. That the federal government is facing a dilemma because Nnamdi Kanu has kept on happening. Two major planks. One, that he didn't jump bail, because the reason he was denied bail the second time was that he allegedly jumped bail in the first time.
Yeah.
And he's saying, I have the right to be granted bail. I didn't jump bail. There was an attempt on my life. I only tried to preserve my life. The Constitution guarantees him the right to life.
So we have two more questions before we wrap up, because we're running out of time.
So, guys, I'm sure you guys have listened to this wonderful interview and what they said about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu defending himself in court. Even today, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said there's nothing to defend. He came to court and was saying, "Where are my witnesses?" Like going to act as witness for him. He called that Nyesom Wike, called that Hope Uzodinma, called that Malami. Like people were saying, even called that Danjuma. People were saying, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was saying, "Where are my witnesses?" Like even what he said in court today, he said, "I don't." He said, there's nothing to even defend." That's what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said. Now, for me, I feel that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has actually lost faith in the entire system, not just the government, but even his own lawyer. So he feels like the people speaking for him are not representing his real voice anymore. After over more than 3 years in detention, with no real progress in his case, Kanu believes it's time to speak for himself. To him, this is not just a court case, it's a freedom mission, and no one understands that mission better than him. I think, he feels that, okay, let me just do this by myself. Since my lawyers have been trying all their possible best, but still nothing is happening. Now, by choosing to defend himself, Kanu is sending a strong message. He's basically saying, "I'm not afraid of the Nigerian government. I'm not afraid of this. I don't even trust anyone to fight for me better than myself." It's a symbol of boldness. He wants the world to see that he's still strong, still unbroken, and still in charge of his destiny. People have asked me, "What do you think the outcome of this court case will be?" Him defending himself. For me, I know Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He's someone. He's a fearless man. So him coming out to defend himself in the court is going to be a very bold move. Yes, he's going to come out, speak like a lion that he is, and that is just speak like and ask people questions. People who say that he did this, ask them questions, throw questions at them. That is what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is going to be. Like, let's be honest now, this isn't just, for the Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to come out and tell his team that, "I don't want you guys to represent me again, let me defend myself." It did not just happen overnight. It's not just happened overnight. Maybe something they have planned it and they have checked deep and found that, oh, this thing is not making pro. Okay, let me just handle it myself. That is what really happened. Anyway, guys, that's all we have for today. Let me know your thoughts below. And also, if you're coming across my channel for the first time, do what to hit the subscribe button, like and share this video, and turn on all notifications. We get all the latest news in this channel, especially when we drop new updates concerning Mazi Nnamdi Kanu or that thing happening in Nigeria. So, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in my next live section.